Thank you. Wow, that's a heck of an introduction. Wow. First off, I want to thank Nate from Code City for letting a guy like me talk to you guys for the next half hour or so, and hopefully I don't sound like a babbling idiot. It's a little different. I'm usually the guy who has a microphone and I'm just sitting in front of my notes, either on air or I also host a podcast, but most of those cheap plugs will be happening later. This talk is kind of a combination of like two things I'm going to intertwine together. The biggest thing is brand building and then putting yourself out there. But I also will touch upon a little bit about like musical entertainment in the 21st century. Since I am part of radio, I've done radio in Toledo since I graduated college from the University of Toledo. Go Rockets. I'm not really a sports guy, so if you're a BG fan, then cool. I'm just a big nerd. And I got into radio because I've really enjoyed music since a young age. A really big experience in my family. My grandfather was a big influence on me on music. And I always was fascinated with like the entertainment of like radio, like the people talking to you and telling you about the songs, things like that. I always found that fascinating. And I originally went to University of Toledo in 2004. I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. It's about 2.5 hours southeast from here. Nothing happens in Akron, it's okay. But Toledo's more of my home. I met my wife here. That's my wife, Dana. She's a sweetheart. I met a lot of my friends here, a lot of musical contacts and things like that here. So Toledo's my home. Like I consider Toledo more of my home than Akron. I got into University of Toledo. I got into college originally for engineering, and clearly that worked out well, because I'm here talking about radio. I almost failed out of college, and I was kind of a smart kid, and I got really frustrated, and my family sat me down. They're like, you like music so much, you like to entertain people, you know, why don't you go into radio? So I'm like, okay. I graduated spring of '09 with a bachelor's of communication. Later, I actually ended up going to Specs Howard School of Media Arts in Westfield, Michigan for a year just to hone my skills. And I joined Cumulus Media, which is XKR, K100, The Ticket, et cetera, the 7 stations in Toledo. Cumulus is one of the 2 major corporations of radio in the nation. That next to them in Clear Channel, iHeartMedia, whatever they're called this week. It's bankrupt, unfortunately. So is Cumulus, so the joke doesn't really work either way. But I joined there in the fall of 2009, 6 months out of college. I got into Cumulus, and I started just little things here and there. And around 2011, I was part of 100.7 The Zone. It was an alternative rock station here. Was on the air and off the air for years because of corporate dollars and advertising and things like that. And when I got on The Zone, I wanted to do something with it. I wanted to treat it the source for things independent, like the things like this, Code City, local music, local entrepreneurs, because The Zone had like the range of and the power of like a hairdryer. So all these bad jokes are gonna keep going, so I hope you guys like it. And so it only worked within the city limits and then some. If you would go travel down to BG, halfway down to BG, the station would cut off. So the college radio station at UT had more power than we did on The Zone. So I'm instead of trying to reach out to everybody outside radio-wise, let's turn it within ourselves. Let's concentrate on what we have in this town and paying it forward and offering a stage for a lot of local musicians. There's a handful out here, businessmen, a couple of them in this room. People like you guys who are trying to figure out and try to get yourself through this world and try to get whatever you want out there, which is great because we need more people who are hungry, who wants to do something, and also just in general in Toledo. We're kind of somewhat of unfortunately a joke in the nation. I mean, Tosh.0 has made fun of us multiple times for things going on. And that's all fun and games, and I'm sure that happens in every city. But Toledo just kind of gets crapped on a lot. And I don't think, there's a lot of beautiful things in this town, a lot of hardworking men and women, a lot of people who want to do things. So I was like, let's concentrate on that. I was on air for about 2.5 years, doing weekdays, and for a hot minute in 2016, 2016, I did a morning show. Like New Year's Day, 2016, I got the phone call, half hungover at my wife's work with my eggs and hash browns, and I get a phone call that says, it was a Friday, so it's like Monday morning, you're going to be doing mornings on 100.7 The Zone. After doing about 2.5 years on weekday afternoons, and a little bit before that, like weekends. So all I just said was, huh? Like, what am I supposed to do on a morning show? Like, there's like Shores and Steel and Mark Benson and Denny Schaefer and all these legends. Like, what the heck am I gonna do? I'm just a guy who calls himself a vegetable. Like, what am I gonna do? So that's when I just pushed on the local us as Toledoans, us as Midwesterners, us as hardworking men and women who wants to do things. And what we did and how that was successful and how more people are still coming to me to this day is that I helped give them a stage. You know, I was not in the important person. I just hosted it. Much like you know Nate and Code City are hosting these people week in and week out, sharing their knowledge with all of you. Why they chose me, I have no idea, but whatever. But I wanted to give that stage to these people because I see it every day. And sometimes you just kind of have to let the little old lady with the bake sale at the VFW have some time on the radio. Because that's what's going on in our town. Sure, people, it's fun to hear like wacky stories. Hey, there's a guy who got his foot stuck in a lawnmower in some middle of the country. That's fun. It's entertaining at times. But I think people want to care about like what's going on here. And also hearing the new Lady Gaga song, because that's cool too. But that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to build the Zone as that brand, as, you know, the home of local things. And this is where the second part of my talk kind of intertwines about is brand building. Not only just myself as Peapod, because if you said my name, and if you said my last name correctly, it's Daher, it's Lebanese, it's weird, it's okay. Nobody would know that. But if you heard Peapod, you're like, oh, I think I remember that guy. Oh yeah, I saw him at that show. Oh yeah, he helped me with whatever. Awesome. Because I tried to I wanted to be the guy to help support everybody and be out there, you know, be on those local television shows, be in those local events that people sometimes may or may not know what's going on. Help those local music artists that do so, like, you have no idea how like passionate I am about the local music scene here because it's just straight up wonderful. If you've never been to a show, go on a weekend, go to your local establishment, restaurant, bar, whatever, go see a show. Spend $5 to $10 and go see a show of locals that you've never even heard of. And I guarantee you, knock on wood, you will enjoy yourself. That's what I wanted to support and be that guy and put themselves out there. So you're kind of wondering then, like, Peapod, why, you know, if that's so easy, if you did all that, how do I get my project idea blank out there? It's a lot of hard work, which is kind of the obvious thing, but it's serious. Since the biggest thing was serious, passion, and sincerity is my biggest like 3 things. Actually, I'm a big old nerd. I've nerd tattoos and comic books, and I'm a big fan of that. But Stephen Amell from the show Arrow, he did a nonprofit campaign called Sinceriously. He made up a word. It didn't get into the dictionary, but he made up a word, Sinceriously, which I loved, which means like serious and sincere together, Sinceriously. And I use that to push my brand, my ideas, the things that I wanted to help support out there. And I used that not only when I was doing stuff on the Zone, when unfortunately the Zone went away in 2016 due to finances and corporate things and and I continued some of my own projects independently. The biggest thing I tried to do, and I tried to reflect this to others, is I was really passionate about like music. I started a local music show on 100.7 The Zone called On the Radar, which featured music and artists coming to, through, and from the area. When The Zone went away, I continued that. I evolved and turned that into a podcast. And now with no corporate backing, with no like sales dollars behind me, without like a team of hearing it every day on radio or every week on radio, I have to like put my project out there and like post things on social media. And we all know how difficult that is to see anything without popping down at least $10 on Facebook to at least for people to see it. Algorithms all over the place. All the social media gets buried and everything. So how do you get people to see your thing, your brand, your ideas? The biggest thing is connecting with people. That's what I've seen. But like truly connecting with people. Like not going to network things and just passing out business cards. Like really sit down and talk with people. Really sit down and like understand what people want and ideas. Really listen. Which is always really tough, especially in this world where we have supercomputers in our back pockets that we want to check every other moment. It's tough. It's also tough to get people's attention. Even like a guy like me who's just talking and people will check phones and everything. Not like anybody's doing that right now, but still. I know I would do that. So really listen to people, being really sincere about what you do. Even my wife's looking at my phone. It's my phone, but she's taking photos, it's all right. Getting my red face. It's putting your stuff out there and just going for it with 100%, no matter if it's done before or not. Like, what's the biggest thing for The Zone? What we did, what worked, is not only giving a stage to those people who just you wouldn't think in the time of day like big radio stations or big corporations or big anybody would even touch. We gave them that stage. We tried our best to use social media and connect even better that way as well. Hey, you can't watch this live, look at this video. Hey, you can't listen live, go to our website, go online, check out our posts, and really like connect with people in the posts. Not just go, hey, thanks for listening, or hey, like actually connect with that stuff. It's possible. It's hard on social media because internet tone. But it's doing that. It's like just showing compassion through the internet, which is, like I said, is very tough. But really putting it yourself out there. Even if it's just a wacky idea, just do it out there. Like I said before, I'm a big old nerd, and we have a comic book convention that comes in last few years called Fantasticon. So a couple of years ago, I decided to reach out to some local writers and artists and go, hey, I want them to feature you guys, you writers, you cartoonists and everything on the radio. I really like this. I think some people would find this interesting. Let's try it. What do we got to lose? People just stop listening for 2 minutes? Okay, whatever. Let's just do it. And people loved it, and people followed it, and hopefully more people went out to the event for doing it, which is awesome. Just go outside the box. Try something different. I've been recently saying that, it's only weird if it doesn't work, which is like my big phrase as of late, because I do a lot of weird things. I act really weird, as you can tell. But it's only weird if it just fails. But if I get at least one person who seemed interested in what's going on, that's a success. I mean, part of this is the success. A lot of people that I know and care about and who I've interacted with multiple times are here tonight. People that have come, I've seen in past Code City Talks that I've come to and still are coming in and actively seem interested in what I'm saying, that's a success to me. That's awesome. It's all that connection. It's all that passion. It's all that showing love and respect for what you do, what for everyone does. If I would put something out there at the end of this is just kind of just do it, no matter what. And if you fail, you'll learn something, and just keep going, and do things outside of the box. Do things that you don't think it's going to succeed. Just do it anyway. I know that's very scary to say, And I know that's very hard to say, and it's even hard for me to say, because like money, respect, you know, followers, it's difficult to do that. Big risk, big reward, right? So if it's strange enough and outside the box and it's cool enough in your mind, if you get one additional person to hit that like button, to subscribe, to follow you, then I think that's a success. And that's the biggest thing. Some of the things I've done post my Zone days is I took a management position at Cumulus Media, so I work on websites and more behind the scenes stuff, and try to work with radio in the 21st century in 2018. Think of ideas that people would respond to very well, which is cool. And then, this is my cheap plug part. Afterwards, outside of the radio, after the 9 to 5 is done, I host a music podcast called On the Radar. It was a radio show, I done a podcast now. Starting to get kind of sponsors, reaching out to people, saying, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're focusing on. You know, would you be interested in helping us, you know, give us a couple of dollars so we can keep doing this and do bigger things. It's called On the Radar, you can subscribe. We feature a lot of cool musicians and also performances from artists coming through and from the area. It's been out for a year. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Podbean. So it's like 600 places. It's cool. If you want to go and check that out, that's cool. I also have made an enamel pin of my face. I did. I seriously did. It's me yelling like this. It is. I made that. That helps the sponsor of the podcast. If you want to go check that out. I'm on all the social media. If you want to follow all the shenanigans, it's Peapod on the radio. I have a professional Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. On the Radar has also the same 3 as well. And yeah, and I appreciate you guys letting me talk and ramble on. I'll answer any kind of questions you're interested in, if you would like. And yeah, keep working hard, because Toledo's a damn fine place. And more people like all of you who are putting something out there. We need more of you people in general in the world. So, yeah. So, thank you.